Computer. All right. And all right. So our guest is PJ Farley from many a band and
This
many a
is
place. We'll start back with Trickster in New Jersey. I am from New Jersey originally and
really
was and in the same age range as you. So I was around for all that.
where, what part?
Well, I grew up in West Orange,
Okay, yeah.
and I don't know if you remember old Studio One days. So yep, we lived there back in the day and all played there. And my buddy's band was pretty popular at the time called Intuition.
Intuition. Yeah, I
His
remember
name is Steve Savona,
that.
and
Okay.
I hung out with all those guys. So you were in our consciousness from way back in the day. So appreciate that I have you on.
So if
Uh,
we're the same age, then you too would never had a beer down in that middle bar. I didn't. I never did.
mm, well, it ended up what did it end up turning into? It turned into like a club
Yeah,
studio.
that's when I actually had my first beer there. After
Yeah.
it's not Studio One anymore. Yeah,
The what is it?
couldn't tell you what it was.
I forgot what it was, but yeah, it had some crazy bar where it had a whole bunch of rooms, and if you got in there before 9, everything was $1.
Oh, Jesus,
And then everything, anything you could order was $1 to drink.
how did they
And
make
so
money?
yeah, and then they would open up this huge room upstairs that was like the size. It was the old Studio One room
Right.
where the stage and everything was. And so when you would go in there, they had a couple bars. They had chains hanging from the ceiling, so you can imagine what would happen after everybody was drinking all that. And then
Interesting.
they had a little person that would run around on the bar and give you like free shots.
That sounds like the place I wanted to play.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty interesting place. When we went in there, right as they would let it open, right as about 11 o'clock, everybody tried to pile in, and or was it 11? Maybe yeah, from 9 to 11. That's what it was, and it was all $1. And I would be like, "Can I get 12 Coronas?" And I can't drink like that no more unless I'm on vacation. But let me do the introduction. So we have PJ Farley. This is RocklandSound, where rock meets Rockland. And I'm in Austin, the music capital of the world. Hopefully, once again, we'll be full steam ahead. We're pretty much open here and have been for a while. You've been a member of many a band. So you're PJ Farley solo. Okay. And I love your new album, by the way, which is called Accentuate the Change. Any
Accent the change. Yeah.
accent to change? I'm sorry. Any particular reason for the title? Just it's something
Uh,
different for you?
it was a kind of a phrase that I just, it's kind of like it's a musical term, really. You use,
Mhm.
you know, when you're
Okay.
kind of jamming with the drummer, saying, we're like, all right, we're gonna go to the bridge here, and you know, give me something going into the bridge. There's a change coming. Accent, make a
I
big
got
splash. And I thought that term applies to, it is a very universal term, and it means something. Can mean many different things. I just liked it.
yeah,
I didn't
very
I
wide
didn't hold
open.
on to it like thinking, oh, that I need an album cover. I mean, an album title.
Hmm.
What's a good album title? I just had that term. I'm like, that's cool. I think that's going to be an album title.
And obviously, as we started Trickster, so I've seen Trickster a million times, and one of the best times that we were like all proud of you was the Revenge tour when
Uh,
you played the Meadowlands,
uh,
opening up for the Mighty Kiss.
yep.
And I remember that show for a couple of reasons. One was when you guys came on, the response was huge. And then I remember Faster Pussycat played, and I liked their music, but it didn't go over well with the crowd. And they ended up like walking off stage and coming back, and this was cool. They just rapped for like 20 minutes. They
Right.
just like put on like the 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 clocks on them and just rapped and just said,
Yeah, that was
whatever.
part of their show. That was part of their show. But
Oh, they did it on purpose.
yeah, they did. They do that every night.
Oh, okay. And
They
then
could have milked it that night. Who knows?
yeah, but and obviously Kiss, that was a great tour for Kiss as far as song selection, stage, the whole thing.
Set list. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was brilliant. Then we got move on, and Trickster kind of came, and then you hit your 90s like everybody else from the era, so you get a prejudged. There's some stories. I think somebody I read said they had the album Tom Kiefer's solo album, and he was playing it in the record. He's a record exec, and he was playing it and he loved it. And everybody in the place was like, "This is the greatest album I've ever heard." And when they told him who it was, nobody wanted to hear it again.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you get stigmatized with that, but what comes around goes around. So you're seeing that music's still surviving and thriving.
Yeah. I
And
mean, I always say that, look, everyone says, "Oh, if Trickster came out earlier, it's like, yeah, but I'd still be in the same position I'm in right now, and it's a fortunate one. I
oh
kind
yeah,
of guys like us and Kiefer and every band from that genre, we're all kind of grandfathered in. We're all able to still make a living playing that music.
yeah. And that's the whole goal in the beginning was
No,
to keep that
no
energy.
shame in it. I mean, we got the golden ticket and we're riding it. So I mean, more than a lot of bands weren't that fortunate. So I mean,
Absolutely.
whether we were riding the wave for 10 years or 3.5 or 4, whatever, as long as you get on.
Well, if you look at the low percentage of people that they get to do that even for a hot minute,
Right.
the fact that you're still doing it, and speaking of still doing it, Ra, is that pronounced right? Because I had that first album, and you have a new one coming out, Incorrupted, which is
Is it corrupted? Yeah.
yeah, and the video is great and the song's great. That first album, I swear I listened to like 4 times a day, and
Really?
somebody clipped it off of me. Like a buddy of mine or something was like, "Can I borrow that?" And I never saw it again. And I was like, I had to go out and buy it again. That's how much I liked it. So it was great. Now, one of the things, we're a little different. So we're kind of like you said, you have to about 4:30 or so. Usually what we do is we try to get to know you as an artist, as opposed to every other podcast that's specific on just your influences and your background. Really kind of know who formed where you are going in your life with music and how you fit into the situations you've been in.
Mhm.
So what it tends to do on occasion is make for very long interviews. I'm getting over bronchitis, so excuse me.
Okay.
We had people like Lips from Anvil on, and if you thought the movie was the story of Anvil, the 2 hours he gave us was really the story. But one question that we asked that's unique to us for the most part is, what is that first album that you had to get with your own money? Now, I'm sure you heard music around you, but there was that one that you went, I need this. If you saved your lunch money, whatever it was.
I want to say, I could be wrong, but it might be Love Gun.
Love Gun.
Love Gun or no, I think it was Love Gun. Yeah. Kiss Love Gun was I think the first one I actually bought my own money.
That's great. And what was it that what was around you right before that led you there? Were you listening to Kiss before, or
All the Kiss records prior to that. Bay City Rollers.
yep.
I mean, but yeah, my life was consumed by Kiss very early on, and there was nothing else until Aerosmith came along. I started branching off to Aerosmith, and then you know all the other hard rock bands that started creeping. Obviously, Van Halen, then Motley Crue, and I kind of went all over the place. And I mean, Journey,
Right.
I mean, Iron Maiden. It all just kind of stuff, but it all started with Kiss.
That's great. And now in doing some research, and obviously you could go through a lot of things, and Wikipedia and that stuff is not always perfect. So now the formation of Trickster is around 83, it says, or is that with you, or is that with just the nucleus initially?
No, Steve started the band in
Okay.
I believe '83. Yeah, with Pete,
Okay.
and they had another drummer and another bass player. The other drummer didn't last all that long, and the bass player was there for a couple of years, and I joined in Fuzzy, I think '87 maybe,
87. Okay.
end of '87 I think.
Then what were you doing right before that, as far as like
I
what
was in another band playing the same places, Studio Ones and
right.
China clubs, and and that's how we kind of got to know each other. We were playing the same all ages clubs together,
Mhm.
and when it was time they needed to kind of switch out their bass player, and they just saw I fit the suit.
You knew them just from the area and playing together, like playing the circuit?
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's how you meet the people you play with. Tom and I are actually bandmates in the past, and with modern technology, going to be working on some music again soon, thank God. That's how we started the pandemic. I mean, really, it was just we got on Zoom to look at each other because we're always keeping in touch because I'm out here and he's there.
Yeah.
And one of us just said, "Man, isn't it getting crazy this year?" And somebody said, "Hey, we support musicians. We are musicians. Why not try to do something to help them keep the music going while nobody's playing?"
Right.
And keep away from the negativity, of politics and all the things that were going on. And obviously,
interesting content. Yes.
obviously, every now and then we have a couple artists that they dig into it, and you kind of got to squirm a little bit because we're trying to make this open for everybody, regardless of where you go down the line.
Careful of the cans you open.
Mhm. Yep.
Back on that one.
Well, that's the thing. Like Lips is, I've actually become really good friends with them, and he got us right at the end, and it's because he's in Canada, so he was curious about what kind of the side are you on, and we were like,
oh boy, yeah. That's not what this is about.
But so as far as now, you get into Fozzie too, and now you're in there. Were you in there from the nucleus of that band as well?
No,
Okay.
I just became a permanent member at the end of last year. I
Okay.
did some touring with them last summer, just kind of as a fill-in. Their bass player didn't want to tour at all with the pandemic and everything. So I just kind of did everything with them up until the end of the year as really just kind of like a as needed basis.
Okay.
And then really it was a really great fit for both. And they decided to make me permanent. So
Great band.
yeah,
Solid
great.
stuff.
It's a fun band. It's a great bunch of guys. I mean, really, it reminds me of like Trickster. They all kind of grew up together. So like when I went on the bus the first time, I was like, I just saw how they interacted together. And I'm like, this is perfect. I am down with this. This is just, guys who grew up together and just have mutual respect and love for each other. I'm like, thank God.
The same humor from the area and everything.
Yeah, man. Just a really long relationship. Everybody treats each other great. So I mean, as fun as the band is and music and everything, that stuff was like so second nature. It was awesome. So
Now with Trickster, you obviously, what did you do after Trickster kind of took their own little break or whatever? I know there
after
was
we
some
decided
legal issues, right?
forced into retirement for a little bit, Steve and I just kept writing, recording. We started, bands. We named it this one day, then that another day, then this. We were close a couple times to getting a record deal, and people caught wind of who it was, and then we kind of got the I don't think I can touch it kind of thing. But we made some great music, and it was a good long run we had. Just just being creative and productive.
I think he had Steve, not to interrupt you. He was big at doing stuff around the fireside in that Denville area, I think, wasn't he, or something?
Yeah. We all were, man.
Yeah, I was all hanging out around all that and
Yeah,
stuff. I had a band
100%.
called Bloodline that was doing pretty well.
Yeah.
And that was lower in the late '90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, we were all doing it. Just
Yeah.
we were home, just playing locally, just keep playing, making some money.
Yeah, keep going.
Not touring. So I mean, we
Absolutely.
had a good long run doing
Now
this.
you did have some legal issues, right? Though, as far as something happened with, or if I remembered, I'm going back to like Metal Edge memory,
Legal
um,
issues.
like legally, as far as being able to release any new music or anything, is contract wise or no? I thought I heard those stories back in the day. Like, no,
No,
I had to release like
I
an album or
nobody wanted it.
it was just okay. So maybe it was just the way.
Didn't have to be anything legal stopping us. The
Okay.
world didn't want it anymore.
All right. Well, you did end up getting back together and then making a couple
Yeah.
records. And I will tell you, Human Ear is one of the best albums. That's another one that when I got that, I was like, wow, people need to hear this.
Thank you, man. Yeah, we're proud of that one. It definitely, it was, I mean, not that we set out to make a shitty record, but I mean,
No.
we were surprised by that. When we finished it, we're like, because we weren't planning on doing another record. We did New Audio Machine. We did that. We were like, oh, it's great.
Yeah, that's a good record
pretty
too.
cool. And then we did Human Error and wound up in our minds, being one of our best.
Mhm.
So we're like, oh, that's pretty
You
cool.
know, it's great. And what we do is we actually have Rockland Sound YouTube, which is where the podcasts go,
Mhm.
and then RocklandSound.com, which is Facebook. We promoted it. We promote them on there as well, but obviously for the podcast, we're trying to focus on the YouTube part.
Yeah.
But what I'll start doing is I'll be putting up some of your solo stuff on the Facebook page and promoting you in your shows, and I'll put out a little I'll take like a week and I'll focus on human ear or anything else that you want me to pick at. You have my email address from the Zoom link. So
Mhm.
if there's any promotional stuff that you want me to focus on to help you guys out or help
Yeah,
you out.
whatever you want, anything you post is promotion. So I
Yep.
mean, I got we have, I did a video for the song Chokehold
Hmm.
record, and Steve did the guitar solo on it and sang background vocals on it with me, and we did a video together.
I just watched it right
Oh
before.
yeah, good. So I mean, promote
So
that.
I'll
I
throw
mean,
that up too.
yeah, throw that up, and that was great. I think people enjoyed. Anyone who's aware of us and fans of us,
Mhm.
liked seeing us back together again. So that was cool. And the new Fozzie videos coming out soon. You got the new Raw.
Yep.
So plenty to choose from. So dealer's choice. Book
Absolutely.
away.
And you also play with Eric Martin.
Yep.
Now, anything particular right now that you're focusing on live wise?
As far as
New shows coming up
dates,
soon?
yeah, I mean, I'm back at it. Me and I were just out all this past weekend and
Mhm.
every weekend this month, and we're back out in like 2 weeks, and then I got some Fozzie stuff in July. I got a week of shows with Fozzie, and then more stuff with Eric, and then more
Cool.
stuff with Eric and Fozzie, and then come the end of August, I got a couple shows with Eric that lead right into like a 6 or 7 week tour with Fozzie.
Now, is there a future for Trickster that
Hopefully, I mean,
you know?
I would like to think so. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to it, but I mean, depending on who wants to do it and who doesn't.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
basically the issue right now.
yeah, there's availability issues. Obviously, I have my hands on, in a lot of baskets right now. Steve got stuff going on, and Pete is, he's working full-time job and stuff. And, towards the end, he was really just kind of not so much reluctant, but hesitant and unable to really commit to doing stuff. So when we did do stuff, it took a lot of work for him to maneuver to make it happen. So I think it became a little bit of a hassle for him. And then it was just kind of like, didn't really want to do it anymore.
Yeah, if it's like grinding your
Didn't want to, never quit the band, didn't say didn't want to do it anymore, but really couldn't really commit to doing it. We had stuff going on at home, and life gets in the way. But
absolutely.
so who knows, man? We'll see. Maybe when things cool down a little bit, we can try to make something happen.
Yeah, no, well, hey, look, as long as there's music out there from you guys. I
Yeah.
mean, Steve hasn't done too shabby to stand on stage with Def Leppard.
Nobody's gathering moss over here.
Nope, nope, that's great. So the one thing is, anything else that you want to say to your fans or to anybody else? Because I want to respect your time there.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, just God, I mean, thanks for one, paying attention,
Yeah.
listening, paying attention, and at least trying to keep track and keep up. I know I'm a little bit of a Goldilocks.
Hmm.
This band one day, this band another day. I I kind of I try not to do that, but
Well,
I
no,
I just really love playing with different people, different styles of music, and I'm always up for a challenge. That's the thing that keeps me really going, is not doing the same thing all the time over. I miss the days of being in one band and just being gung ho one band and that's it.
mhm.
But in the same respect, nothing is better to me than getting the call going, "Hey man, we need you to fly out and learn 15 songs by tomorrow." I'm like, "Let's do this. Let's see if I can do it.
Mhm.
Let's go." It really puts you to the test, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to pass a lot of tests. So I mean, I just love doing that. Something about it. But
I had a friend that this is how solid a musician he is. He actually was playing in like a southern rock band, and the guitar player got sick. They're two guitar players, obviously, like most Southern rock bands or more. And I watched him rehearse over the phone and play the next day.
Right.
And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
you got your stuff together. So, but I mean, musician is music. It's not going to be, we don't eat one meal a day or have one drink, here, or, somebody likes this or somebody likes that. I don't care who if I could be the background guy to Hall and Oates for a month and just do oohs and ahs, I'm not saying a thing. You don't even have to pay me.
I would love to be that guy.
Yeah.
I'd
Absolutely.
I'd be a crew guy for Hall and Oates if I can get to see them every night.
Exactly. Same thing here. It's one of those bucket list. The thing that's killing me is that they've come here. They've had 2 years in a row. 2019 and 2020. Daryl Hall gets sick in 2019, and 2020 we get hit with the pandemic, and they stopped the show.
Right.
And they don't have it. And I'm like, when?
Supposed to be happening this year, though.
Yeah. So I'm ready. Now they're starting to book them now. They're all starting to. They just like now Alice Cooper and Ace Frehley together.
Yep.
So I'm ready for that one. But we're about to at the time up part of the show. I value your time here.
Thank you, man. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for having me.
Now you got a fan in me. I stay loyal to the bands that I love, and I wouldn't say I grew up with you, but I kind of grew with you.
Alongside of me.
Yes.
Same places, same kind of age. It's a
absolutely, and I'm glad we're all here. Most of us.
Tell me about it. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So we're talking to PJ Farley, or we were talking, and we will hopefully get a chance to talk again. We will promote the Accent to Change album. We got Fozzie coming up, shows and an album. We've got Eric Martin and PJ playing shows. And are you guys ever thinking maybe of doing some music together?
Yeah, we're always talking about it.
Okay.
About 5 years now.
I'm trying to get you into more groups.
It just matters, getting down and doing it. And then, aside from me and Eric just doing the acoustic stuff, we Steve Brown and I and Joey Casada on drums and Eric, we go out and we do a full band show where it's like all the guns are blazing, so
nice.
It's a little bit different than the acoustic show. The acoustic thing is more of a dinner and a show kind of, where there's a lot of banter between me and him. It's like Laurel and Hardy, and
that's cool.
I said we're like the Fabulous Baker Brothers.
There you go. That's great.
The full band show is, it's kind of like Trickster meets Mr. Big, like that experience where kind of doing the best of both worlds, and it's really cool. So we got a lot of that coming up this summer, and I'm looking forward to it all, man. Just glad to be back out doing it.
All right, once again,
the one thing I know how to do.
Well, you do very well, and like I said, we really appreciate you being on, and hopefully we can have the opportunity again with Tom here.
Oh, we will. Yeah, we'll come back and see.
And we'll throw up a whole bunch of your music for everybody to hear and see, and we'll promote the shows and everything on the Facebook page and everything, awesome. And put some links down below. All right.
God's work. You're doing good. Keep it alive.
Thanks for joining Rockland Sound, PJ. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, man.
All right. Have a great evening.
All right, bye-bye.